Replacement theology. Long before the church became a global institution, it was a movement rooted in the soil of Israel, nurtured by prophets, fulfilled in the Messiah, and commissioned through Jewish apostles. But history took a sharp turn when Constantine, the Roman emperor, declared Christianity the state religion. What followed was not just political endorsement, it was theological distortion. The fusion of Roman power with ecclesiastical authority birthed ideologies that severed the church from its Hebraic foundation. Chief among them was replacement theology, the belief that the church had supplanted Israel in God's covenantal plan. Today, we trace the roots of this doctrine not to Scripture, but to empire, and expose its consequences for generations of believers. This is not merely history. It's a call to return to the covenantal truth of a God who never forgets his promises. Replacement theology, also known as supersessionism, finds its early institutional roots in the ideological shift that occurred when Emperor Constantine converted Christianity into the Roman state religion in the 4th century. This political adoption of the faith led to a fusion of Roman imperialism with ecclesiastical authority, birthing a theology that sought to universalize the church by distancing it from its Hebraic foundations. As the Roman Church grew in influence, it began to teach that the church had replaced Israel in God's redemptive plan, that the promises once given to the Jewish people now belonged exclusively to the Gentile-led church. This contradicted Paul's clear teaching in Romans 11, where he warns Gentile believers not to boast against the natural branches and affirms that the gifts and calling of God are irrevocable concerning Israel. The institutionalization of Christianity under Constantine led to the marginalization of Jewish believers and the suppression of the Jewish roots of the faith. Over time, this evolved into a theology that not only replaced Israel but vilified her, contributing to centuries of anti-Semitism and theological error. Biblically, God's covenant with Israel remains intact. The new covenant, as prophesied in Jeremiah 31 verse 31, was made with the house of Israel and Judah, not in replacement of them. Gentiles are graciously grafted in, not as replacements, but as co-heirs through faith in Messiah, Ephesians 2 verses 12 to 13. To embrace replacement theology is to ignore the prophetic continuity of Scripture and the character of a covenant-keeping God. The true church honors its Jewish foundation and awaits the full restoration of Israel, as foretold in Romans 11 and Revelation 7. As history has shown, when theology is shaped by empire rather than Scripture, the result is distortion, not revelation. Replacement theology is not a harmless doctrine, it's a breach in the covenantal wall, one that denies the enduring promises of God to Israel and undermines the integrity of His word. Authentic believers must reject any ideology that severs the church from its Hebraic roots or rewrites the narrative of redemption to fit cultural convenience. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is a covenant-keeping God. His faithfulness to Israel is not a footnote, it's a foundation. To follow Christ is to honor the fullness of His story, from Genesis to Revelation. So stand firm. Be discerning. And let your theology be forged in the fire of truth, not the shadow of tradition.